Unironically, I'm live. Says I'm live. Alright. Alrighty. It's a little weird seeing a whole new UI. I'm gonna have to be honest. Oh, hello. How are you doing? You made it for once. I'm happy that you're here in general. Oh, hello, Pink and Possum. Is that really a job? It is. I'm doing pretty darn happy. I don't work today, so... Oh, sorry about that. I don't work today, so that means I can stream as casually as I want. All my other live streams have been right before I go to work. But I've got today off. I'm going to talk for a few minutes, let people trickle on in. Just got off of work. Alright, you've been released. Released from the corporate prison, I think is what people have been saying recently. I just kind of get new terms delivered to me by, like, snail mail, because I'm not really on social media. I just kind of exist vaguely online, and information hits me like winds and breezes. Let's see. It is going to be a lot more interesting, getting used to this UI. Twitch has a lot more options than YouTube does. It's frankly crazy. Hey, how are you doing, Ravi? I'm happy you could make it. Alrighty. And I think in about 2 minutes, I'll consider this officially started. Oh man, memes go by so fast now too. You know, back in my day, unironically back in my day, memes came and then stayed for a few months, and then they start going away. Now I will hear about a meme and then have people tell me that it is dead within a week. Legitimately less than 7 days. I apologize if you hear the sounds, which I know you do. Turned off my fan for this. Now I do have older people in the house, so I can't exactly turn off the AC, because they'll... I guess technically they will still be in the house, but not in a fun way. So you might hear that, but I turned off my own fan, so you're gonna hear a lot more as I cool myself down the caveman way by splashing water on myself. It is exactly 0606. Oh, nice. Alright. That's a fun coincidence. The best way. I mean, legitimately. It would be a lot better if there was air, but, like, wind and water, to aid in the evaporation, which takes away the heat from you, but water's better than nothing. Get in the fire hose. Oh, get the fire hose. Alright, that's significantly better. Quick, put him in the fire hose. And I'm just illiterate. I might need to size y'all up, actually. One day I'll figure out how to put y'all in the video itself, because I've noticed that in the VODs I'm just responding to nobody and I sound like a crazy person. And I mean, honestly, it's, let's see, I should be a somewhat professional person. The spray sounds like a nice trigger, though. Honestly, it's one of the reasons why I'm not super worried about it, and it's because, let's see, I'll be able to stay here for the full stream, though I'd like to. Hey, no problem. I am very happy that you came here at all. And it is time for me to get this party started. Let me just see if the announcement has uploaded. It has not. I don't know what time zone YouTube's in, so whatever. Either way, what we're gonna go ahead and start off with is... I should really find a better place to put my triggers. I just kind of have them on my desk. But let's get some more scratchy triggers started. I hope y'all can hear this nice and clearly. What's also great is that because I have 2 hours, I don't have to feel like I need to rush between triggers. I can take a few minutes and enjoy them. Let's not forget about this ear. Both of your ears deserve love. Just like you as a person. Happy I could catch the stream. Perfect timing. Hey, no problem if you don't last the whole stream. I appreciate you coming in at all. Oh, Okeanis. Hello, hello. I read the message before I read the name. Yeah, I'm streaming for 2 hours. The 1 hour streams were kind of a testing thing, because my first stream was for 3 or so, and I burned out very quickly. Granted, it was playing a game, but that takes a lot more energy than this does. So I was testing it out. Now that I've decided that I love live streaming and talking to you guys in real time, as opposed to in the message in a bottle style of YouTube comments, I want to increase not only frequency, but also length. This is also my first time using I've never even watched a live stream on Twitch. Yeah, I think it's funny that the fact it was a horror game surprised me. It really did, because I intentionally don't do research on my games, because for me, it's either I do 0 research, and I just get hit with whatever there is, or I do a little bit of research, which turns into a lot of research, which turns to spoiling basically everything. So, I saw a cute game, so I was farming, thought it'd be chill, and, Wendigos. Do you find recording or streaming to be easier or less stressful? Oh, live streaming's so much easier. I say as someone who's barely done it, and is not being paid for it, ideally. I say ideally. I don't have an issue being paid for it, but as I'm not able to, I'm bad with wording. Anyway. I'm not in it for the money, is what I'm saying. But, so I don't have that added stress. It's a lot easier, it's a lot more calm. I am an extrovert, so I like replying to you guys. And I don't have to make up a story to go along with the ASMR triggers, because I feel like making a large number of pure ASMR videos would get kind of tiring, which is why I do the stories and all that. And also, pure triggers don't express the, without sounding super sappy, loving attention I try to put into my videos. I try to make my videos something that when you listen to it, you can walk away feeling like someone gave you attention. You know, as a person. Might be a little idealistic, but, you know, that's kind of the cause for this channel, is idealism. Our poet is in it for the art. Yeah. Now let's try this one. I think it's gonna sound better with this, actually. There we go. See, I'm trying to remember the names that came up for the monsters. I think they were just all named Todd. There was the Wendigo Skinwalker Fleshgate thing, and it was named Todd. Then there was the Clowns, who I think were also respectively named Todd. I think we just ended up being Todd 2, Todd 3, Todd 1, which I just shortened to Toddin, Todd 2, Toddery, or something. I don't, really go back and watch that, although I do occasionally go back and play the game. There we go. Good times. Well, I would like to, as soon as I get paid for this month, ideally by YouTube, I will be replacing some computer parts, because currently my computer likes to send itself into oblivion if it has to run a whole 3 programs at once. So, I think it's a heatsink issue, not heatsink, PCU issue. Out of the loop. So, the game was Pumpkin Panic. It is an indie game that lies to you. It starts off with a really cute, this was my first live stream ever, I think, maybe the second one, which means it's probably 6 months to a year old by now, which means that I'm not surprised that y'all are kind of out of it, so I apologize. So Pumpkin Panic was a game I played that is really cute. I love its art style, and it, your Sixth Sense. Yeah, I did not have my Sixth Sense. And what it did is it pretends and partially is a farming game. So it starts you off, you have 6 farming crops, and a boat you need to fix, right? And it says, hey, you have to unlock 5 of these farming crops. Go collect money. You can upgrade your stuff too. And then night came along, and monsters come out. You can hide in your house, but there's a monster in your house, and he gets mad if you stay there for too long. But if you go outside, monsters outside who get mad at you for being alive, and try to rectify that problem post-haste. So, it really caught me off guard. How are y'all feeling about this trigger? The slow thumping of wood between wood. I have done... The clowns work. That's another thing, is there are clowns in the game, which... not entirely uncommon, but I don't like clowns. I don't like people with face coverings in general. I don't, it's one of those things where it either comes from natural predisposition or trauma, and I refuse to engage. So I just assume it's just a predisposition. But I really don't like people who cover their faces. It sets off red alarms to me. So then this game says not only one clown, have two. And one has a balloon, one does not. You're supposed to take the balloon from one and then give it to the other, and if you fail on either of those, they attack you. Doesn't help my predisposition against clowns. I would like to see one game where there was a clown in it that wasn't a bad guy. Yeah, really, it is too many clowns. It's kind of in two phases. Well, I'm clearly gonna have to play it again because I do really like the game, but live stream playing it again. But it kind of comes in two phases. During the day, you're being a happy little farmer. Oh, and the art's up. You know what? Hold on. Hold on 1 second. If I can't find images immediately, Pumpkin Panic. There we go. All right. Give me uno momento, and I'll try to show y'all. Nope. Oh. There we go. It's technically on screen. It's devouring the screen. Guys, can you tell I'm not a professional? Can you tell yet? Yeah. So this is its page. You have this little guy. He goes around. He collects farms. Oh, so there's 7 of them. That's right. And you're trying to build the ship. There's nothing else. It's just comments. But it is. I love its art style so much. Look at it. Look at it. Alright. Back to the reason we're actually here. Yeah, OBS may not be the most intuitive. I know there's a bunch of plugins for it, but that's also not particularly intuitive either, having to search for things. JoJo's Circus. It's a claymation show made with a clown girl and her pet lion. Oh, I might actually have to check that out. That sounds interesting. Sounds like Stardew Valley-ish with the cutesy farming aspect and the monsters in the mines. Oh my god. I have a very complicated relationship with Stardew Valley. It is... I have a lot of hours on it. And it is what I describe as the perfect girlfriend game. Being that it fits very, no, it's, I don't think it's trauma. But, I just did want to clarify my position that I do like Stardew Valley, but, no, you didn't. It's just, I have so much time with Stardew Valley, and I love exploring the mines so much. I cannot play it for long. The, not Log Horizon. What's the other girlfriend game? It's the one with the dog girl. She fights demons with Doom, the Doom guy. God, alright, never mind. I'm completely off the rails. But Animal Crossing, thank you. I can never remember. I think there's like one called New Horizons or New Leaf, and I always default to that one. Isabel, there we go. Yeah. That's another one. That these are games that are very much time sinks, as all games want to be. With, you know, little mundane tasks that you do and you go back to bed and all that. And my ADHD self cannot handle that for very long. I think I play Stardew like I was the actual farmer, where I go in, I spend a day talking to my favorite little villagers. I go and fight in the mine because, well, I moved from the Skald. Fighting's kind of in nature, but I don't want to get distracted. I was about to go on yeah, you wanted some drama. The Skalds back in the day, they had some drama. But New Horizons is a Switch. They both exist. Switch, New Horizons and New Leaf. Well, no wonder I get them confused. I'm such an old man. I'm such an old man. And it's time for the brushies. Which one's your favorite villager? Emo man. I'm gonna be honest, I kind of don't like the guys in that game. Which isn't all that surprising. But no, hold on. There's one guy I like. I like Linus and I like the fisherman. So the ones that nobody else likes. But I think my favorite villager is well, the emo girl, actually. The one that wants to be an adventurer, the purple-haired girl that fights with her mom. Abigail is her name. I really dig her. Because she's basically me if I was an NPC, in the way that I play it. Odyssey, yeah. Your grandpa is a character in of himself. I don't think I made it to year 3 because I get bored and restart. So I don't actually know if he comes back. Yeah, Abigail does eat gemstones. What is it? Amethyst, which is purple, so maybe she doesn't actually dye her hair. Maybe she's like a flamingo. My brain's on dial-up. She might be like a flamingo, and she gets all that pigment from the amethyst she's eating. But there's her, and I like Penny as well. I feel bad for her, though. I feel bad for Penny. But I really like the earnest, caring type. And she's the villager's only teacher, apparently. I really like the earnest, caring type. So she's got some bonus points. But I relate more to Abigail. Rulia, that can't be true. Are you saying 56,000 hours? Please. Please, I beg of you. Please give me context. You also get products. I was making oh, okay. Dial up. Alright, I see. There we go. That makes a lot more sense. Yeah, once again, pro streamer, bros. Pro streamer. That's fine. I really need to not say that. I think the last time I said it's fine on stream, the computer crashed. Sent itself into oblivion. That is a cursed phrase now. Man. I have an actual sheet of lore. Because I like lore. I think it's really interesting to learn about a character. And I have an idea that one day I'm gonna make a video of little storybook talking about Ulgrim the Skald, how little Uvi came to be. And I have zero idea how to make that. Because that will require artists, and I mean, I've been a manager before, but trying to wrangle your own people is like trying to wrangle cats. I can't imagine trying to wrangle artists. Yeah. No, really. I went back and watched the Lethal Company Skald? Skald, what on earth? VOD. I am the Lethal Company's Skald. But I went back and watched it, and yeah, sure enough, you get "it's fine." Video ends. It's just, and if that just doesn't encapsulate my luck exactly, that was just perfect. Thankfully, I warned y'all that it would be scuffed. I still got pumpkin panic up. Get out of here. What is happening? Just... There we go. I'm just gonna do this. Bam. Let's fix this issue. There we go. Some of y'all might get an alert. Some of y'all might get an alert. Don't worry about it. It was, in fact, not fine. Oh, the only thing fine was me. You know what they say about flattery. It will get you everywhere. Yep. Yeah. No, I'm not, So I've noticed that certain videos, sent out notifications, apparently. So I tried making a video that... What are you saying, Ravi? What's that oh my god about? But, I tried to make a video announcement for this, and I had it set to 6 I had it scheduled. It is 6:30, and it still has not gone out. It'll get you most places if you're good at it. Now, I will give you a warning that if you're going to try to flirt with Ulvi, he's got... No. You do have your work cut out for you a little bit. Actually, is that a good thing or a bad thing? I never remember. Either way, you've got an uphill battle, because I have a very specific weakness, or a few very specific weaknesses, and I'm basically blocked all else. It is goofy how absolutely incorrect my brain was installed. But apparently this is a lot more common than I thought it was as I grew up. You've been grinding your stats. Well, I have been saying I'm basically an NPC. So you might consider me the final boss. Hello, hello, Turbo Sift. Immediately coming with the alien emotes as well. That's gonna be something I'm gonna get used to. YouTube really doesn't have that. Technically, memberships exist, and you can create like 10 Turbo Slime. Hi. Alright, I'm gonna be honest, I did not read that way at all. I was like, oh, Sylphic or something. Oh, okay, cool. Maybe that's an animal I don't know of. That's just slut. Flashbang. When you start streaming. Oh, do you? Oh, that's interesting. Oh, you can add your own? Oh, that... Slot's pulling up at the perfect time. Quick. Invade the Skald. Bring your army of sluts. That is a joke, please don't. I'm not prepared. I'm not prepared for this invasion. But man, I am my own set army. Flexing charisma so hard you summon a slut. Oh boy. Oh yeah. I think, as the kids say, Pink and Possum was trying to rizz me up earlier. As a joke, I believe. I need to remember that streaming is a lot less serious in real life. I can play around a lot more. Ulvi tricked me into fight. You know what? You're right. I am not the final boss. Clearly, the turbonicular slut is. Anyway, I don't know if demonetization exists for Twitch, but I think I've said slut like 50 times now. So, I can't wait for the nuke from above. But man, if I can add my own emotes, I'm gonna have to look into that. That sounds awesome. It's only a joke if it didn't work. That is A-tier backup plan. You can be saucy on Twitch if you're going to be super saucy. Oh yeah, Twitch has had a lot of weird things with that 18+ tag recently. I'm not fully convinced they know exactly what to do with it yet. Twitch is insane. I'm only downloading this for the stream. Oh, well, I appreciate that. Yeah, there was definitely an inherent risk in, but streamers is one of them. But, there was definitely a risk in coming to Twitch. But, because not everyone wants to change platforms. But, it seemed like, in my research, Twitch was a lot more friendly to streaming for the streamer, which I can say that is clearly true. I figured that out already. And for the viewers as well. Hello, hello, Tokyo. How are you doing? Thank you for coming. I appreciate you. Oh, got a little too close. Yeah. Hold on. I don't know if I fully read that right. When is the Uvi butt cam stream? Weird. Where we watch you play Pumpkin Panic project. Nope, that's I think you were giving me a little too much of a bonus to that particular stat. That projected especially. Is that a country accent? Maybe. Could have been. It comes out sometimes. It's also really difficult to go back in. You know what? Given your name, I'm not surprised. There we go. I think in my last stream someone asked if I was going to do not safe for work content, and I said I was going to be super wholesome on this channel. Yeah, that would be a very interesting stream to come from that. No, guys, I said I wouldn't do not safe for work audio. Visuals, however. Yeah, Cayenne at least, or at best. I told a friend about that phrase. I only have 2 friends that actually know about this whole endeavor, and I did not tell that one about this. So I told someone about the cayenne thing, and they said, cayenne's actually pretty spicy. And I didn't know what to do, because I don't know if cayenne's actually spicy or not. Monsters coming out during Ulvi's full moon. Yep. I wouldn't be surprised. I've seen the animals online. on if you have tolerance. I guess so, yeah. Does cayenne have heat? I guess so. Okay, so it's just on the low end of the Scoville scale. Man, I am from Texas, and I'm gonna do this one. And in Texas, we've got this other class. You know, like I'm fully in the Texan class, right? That's where all my character progression went. Then we got this new class, this new DLC recently. It was banned at one point, and they're called Mexicans, right? And holy moly, I cannot relate to other parts of America now with the whole spicy thing. I'll hear them talk about how Taco Bell's bad, and it's like, brother. Brother. My brother in Christ. New Mexico. Yeah. Yeah, oh man. See, I'm all about sharing of cultures. I am so full of that. And food is a good way to do that. I also have a Korean family member and a Filipino family member now as well. So like when it comes to various kinds of spices, I do dig it. I think, excuse me, I think the only time that I don't like spicy is when it's just spice, no flavor, you know? Because that also exists, where it's just like, flavor bad, hot is the only thing. Step indie. Man, the region of India invented, like, what, half of what we have? It's crazy. I guess it helps when they're in the middle of the entire Afro-Eurasian continent. Buldak Korean noodles are insane, so good. Oh, insanely spicy. See, here's the thing. A lot of my relatives hate spicy. And, you know, at the end of the day, as long as you enjoy the food, that's really the most important part. Some people like a little kick, some people don't. I have zero room to talk on what's normal because I do like spicy, but more importantly, I don't really like sweet things very much, and I like fermented foods. So, like, most Americans kind of get freaked out when they hear fermented foods, so I'm not allowed to criticize. But, man, if it comes from Korea and it's food, it's just good. What does fermented food mean? So, some examples are some kinds of pickles, though not typically the ones you buy at the grocery store. Sauerkraut is fermented. I think salami is fermented meat. I don't know if dry aged and fermented are the same thing. Oh, dude, kimchi. Oh my god. I could eat kimchi all day long. I could legitimately eat kimchi all day long. But God, that's the one bad thing about being in Texas is we really don't have much of a Korean influence. So it's just, yeah, I've been craving. I went to South Korea once in my life, stayed there for about a month, or 2 months rather, and I'm just, I want to go back. Send me back. Sauerkraut fruit. Oh man, sauerkraut's good as well. A little cracked pepper on top. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, kimchi is fermented. But the fermentation isn't dangerous because... Alright, I'm sorry. I'm about to enter nerd Ulvi mode again. But you have different kinds of bacteria out in nature. Some is dangerous, like E. coli. Some is not dangerous, and produces tasty results, like yeast. All these things being bacteria. Fermented stuff. Alright, see, Turbo Sluts found one of my weaknesses. I told you I had a few. Y'all need to start. Y'all need to stop trying to rizz up the the streamer. But not a lover of fermented stuff unless it would get me drunk. Yep, I fully get that. But the fermentation process, what it does for food anyway, is that it basically creates so many of a good bacteria that it is actively hostile to any other kind of bacteria. So ideally E. coli couldn't go in because you have this mob of kimchi ferment bacteria, whatever, I don't know the names. But they basically push them out. You basically got a probiotic. A probiotic is a type of thing. It's not really a specific, but they are also probiotics. You're not wrong at all. Found an app where you can buy a variety of Asian foods at reasonable prices. It's called Yummy. Ooh. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Yummy app. Alright, I'll save that for later. I'm not gonna do it now. I've already gone on one tangent. Oh, another thing that's fermented apparently is sriracha, I believe, is fermented. At least proper Sri Lankan sriracha, I believe, is fermented, and that adds a nice kick to it. Man, guys, y'all are making me hungry. Why are you bullying the oldie? I didn't do it. The cock sauce. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. Search fermented food, and most of them are in jars. Yeah, that's... So, the reason that... Now I'm being bullied. Anyway, the reason that a lot of fermented vegetables, almost specifically, or almost exclusively, is... yeah, Possum really is pulling out all the stops. I didn't realize I'd get found out so quickly. I thought it would take a lot longer for someone to figure out me, but anyway. Yeah, so essentially what you do is you fill up a jar with water. You can do vinegar, but I think typically it's just water. You make it a highly, highly salty environment, and then you keep the vegetables under. What it creates is an anaerobic, which means no air, environment under the water, which is where the veggies are, and that is where the good bacteria shows up. The bad bacteria can't really live in salty usually, it can't really live in water usually, and then even if it comes in, it gets absolutely bullied and demolished by... You know what? Good point. Stop trying to rizz up the speaker. But pickling, I believe, is just vinegar now. I think it's just refreshing. Punish me more. Y'all wild. But I think pickling is something else. I feel like there's two entirely different conversations going on here. Yeah, I love this tapping stuff. I wish I could grow out longer nails for a more proper tapping sound. but I cannot. So y'all are gonna have to make do with this short nail madman. Alright, what's your solution? Hold on. Before you go to the solution, I see your message up there. I don't know how to tell you this, it's pretty evident in your video that you've got brain damage. You need to explain yourself. You can't just drop that line. I missed words in that. I don't know how to tell you this, but it's pretty evident in your videos that you've got some brains to damage. I think I just disproved you. I think I may have accidentally disproved that statement, but I appreciate you originally being on my side. Back in the day of a minute ago. I was wondering where that came from. Just like, oh yeah, no, this is great. I'm gonna try to riz you up. Also, by the way, you have brain damage. Just try to soften me up on one side and then mollywop me on the other. Which is bad, but it was unexpected. I need to lower my voice for this. So this is what happens when I move to Twitch. My viewers become insatiable, and suddenly I'm on the defensive. I love my community. 100%. It is one of those things where how do I do this better? I practiced this. I did not practice this enough. It's one of those things where you hear other creators talk about how much they love their community and we're like a family, but I genuinely do love my community. There we go. I needed more cards. I am incredibly blessed to have all of y'all, and y'all are the reason that this channel still exists, because the original plan was to do ASMR for about a year and then leave it, but was not able to do that. Oh, you're the one who made the... Dude, I loved the the goblin fan art. It was so cute. I love the little sign as well. Does this trigger do anything for y'all? I need to practice this a little bit more. It is, I think, my most recent, aside from the streaming thing, I think it's in my most recent community post. You can go to my YouTube channel and go to the community posts. I appreciate you coming, Pink and Possum. Hopefully, you enjoyed it. You have an excellent rest of your day. Oh man, it is starting to get warm up in here. I wonder if silent fans actually exist. You see advertisements for them, but you see advertisements for silent fans, but I don't know if those exist. Because surely you would have sound. Goodbye, my sluts. What a call off. Use filters that will cut out the. Really? I'm gonna have to look into that. I didn't know that OBS could cut out fan noise. Would that not harm the rest of the audio? The fan noise makes. Well, you're not. I'll think about both of these options. I guess if there's a plugin for it, that might explain, because I did a little bit of research on this platform with other ASMR channels, and they have dead silent rooms, and I have no idea how that happens. Been at it for a few years, wow. I mean, if you've got some information, then my email is attached to my YouTube channel, or if, I suppose there's a, I don't know if there's a way to communicate with streamers on Twitch, so whichever works. Because I am a micro channel with micro amount of experience. Get a better bottle for that. We're learning as we go. I appreciate all of y'all for coming in during the learning process. Oh, we got fancy pants in here. Oh, a communique. Oh. Listen to this fancy slut. I had to. It was required. Oh, man. I'm happy that I decided to do it for 2 hours. Because I still got energy for another one. Man. I have a friend who is autistic, and I have ADHD, and I've known this since I was a child, right? And my guy sent me through an existential crisis when, in a conversation we had, he just deconstructed my entire existence and was like, yeah, I think you have autism. He just destroyed me one day in a car. Just wrecked. Oh, dude, fountain pens with a cartridge? Oh yeah, that's so much better. I truly enjoy fountain pens. That is another one of my highly niche interests. Which I think was one of his points. It was like, you know how autists like trains? And then he just gave me all of my own interests. He's like, those are your trains. Just destroyed me. He's a bad man. He's a bad, bad man. ones. I misplaced my fountain pen. I'm gonna have to buy a new one. But I love that thing. I loved it so much. We're not all savants, but special interest is often a thing. Yeah, there's definitely the autistic savant, and then there's just autistic. But I think that does come from the fact that it is a spectrum also on a greater spectrum. But it is what it is. Does that do rough for y'all, by the way? Just feel free to let me know. Is the trigger too rough? Is the trigger too rough on your ears for relaxation? I forgot I had to clarify myself. Man, I am recording this. This will be uploaded to my channel, and I will expose all of this just to, oh my god, 3,000 people. Over 3,000. I think I'm at like 3,150. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. I genuinely thought I'd have like 100. And then it's this. And you know, I looked at the what is it? Twitch oh, sorry. Twitch has, it's like partnered and then partnered plus or something like that. Yeah, really. But Twitch has like partnered and then sub-partnered, and the sub-partnered, the baby partnered, I think requires like 3 regular stream viewers or something. And I think I have like 5. I don't know if you can see this. Can I see how many people are viewing? 13 viewers. 13. And that's being off-platform. That is going into new territory. So, I am genuinely, I know I've already said this, and I'm being super savvy, but I did appreciate that. I did notice that. I was waiting for it. But, but, hey, Yowie, how are you doing? You certainly did make it, and we've got about another hour to go. But I imagine as I become more regular, more people will come over, theoretically. But I am just blessed to have this many people in general. Woke up, Ovi stream, time to go to sleep. The man of golly. How do I eat a burger? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, we have a bunch of people coming in. Hello, hello. Literally made a Twitch account to watch this. Well, I appreciate it. I greatly appreciate y'all coming in. We've got at least another hour to go, so y'all have plenty of time to settle in and enjoy. I'm going to be honest, the first half of this was a little chaotic, so you might have come in theoretically as it slows. But how are y'all doing today? Oh, you can't sleep without my... That is one of the biggest compliments. I see that occasionally, and that is genuinely one of the biggest compliments that you can say. Get this paper towel out of here. Yeah, that's another thing that I think is funny, is that back when I was in school, the way that I spoke, the super, like, I've actually gotten worse about it in recent years because I moved into a more hick area. I love the hicks, it's not an insult, but I've moved into more of a hick area, so my enunciation has gone down, but I remember that being something that people made fun of me for in high school, and I would just look at them and go, bro, you're a mumble rapper. It's like, make fun of me, I don't know. I say my words clearly. I'm sorry, I just think of that anytime I see the word enunciate now, because it was always one of those weird things. It's like how you'll hear other people say that they dress up because they want to have confidence and, you know, look better. And they're like, yeah, people make fun of me. How can you make fun of somebody for dressing up? Like, dressing up? Bro, that just means that they're gonna look good. I am of the firm belief that you can dress up and go to Walmart and you will be the hottest person in the Walmart. Hard time sleeping, so I was excited for something that could knock me out. Woke up an hour ago and joined the stream, desperately trying to stay awake. How much is that pen? Teeterbull? Nah. I've about decided that people will make fun of each other for anything, and people are silly. I didn't look at the price. I know I can't. Oof. I know. I've already said slut like 85 times in this stream. I went to my friend's wedding in Australia. God, I love Australia. I love Australia so much. At least as a tourist. I do plan on moving there one day. But I've been to a few countries. There's a huge difference between loving a country that you visit versus loving a country you live in. Huge, huge difference. But the reason I like Australia is because rainbow color 83, black clear 70. I can allocate some funds for that. I'm gonna have to check out that pen as well. But yep, I'm in the same position as you, Ravi. I am not a... Let me word this better. I am somebody who values what is it? Community. I value working to aid others and giving a little bit more so that the whole may enjoy, but certain countries are more individualistic, certain countries are less so. There's good and bad with both. Australia, to me, seemed to hit a good point in the middle, so I would like to give it a shot. And if not, I'll try another country. I'm not... When you're a fan of history and different cultures and different foods and all these things, it's kind of hard to say, I'm gonna move to that country and that's it, no plan B. Like, everyone's got their own thing going on. Almost every single culture has goods and bads. But anyway, went to Australia. I really liked one of the shirts I rented for the wedding, because I was going to be one of the best men. One of the guys of honor. And I can't remember the wording, but I like the softness. I like the fit of it. I was like, all right, I'm gonna look up this brand. I took a picture. I cannot figure out where that brand is online. I have a picture of it still. I Google it. It does not come up. I don't know what that means. I don't know how I have photographic evidence that a company exists and then just... it doesn't. But... I mean, even if they were bought out, you'd think that there'd be residuals. Well, I guess theoretically they could have eaten the website too. I don't know. I have Fruit of the Loom cornucopia scandal. What is a cornucopia? Is that the fruit basket? The fruit basket that they have? What's a scandal with that? Yeah, so okay. The Horn of Plenty, yeah. So how does they make underwear into undershirts? How do they have a scandal? Cornucopia Gate. In relation to undies is such a weirdly academic way of wording what they do. In relation to undies, they make... No. Alright. Game over. TED Talk over. Mandela effect. There are two versions of the logo. Most people seem to remember the cornucopia. That's interesting. Now, I've been alive for a number of years. I don't actually remember. And I have to think that I don't think I've ever seen the cornucopia on their like actual products. Like you buy the underwear or someone buys them for you, because I wouldn't buy Fruit of the Loom for myself. But anyway, you know, undershirts and stuff like that. I remember the fruits. There has to be another image or something with the actual basket that people are mixing up. Because I have a distinct, like, I know the image y'all are talking about, but I'm thinking back now, and I don't think I've ever seen the actual basket on their products. Also, what a weird thing for them to deny. Can I also just say that? It is kind of an odd thing to make that such a hard point of like, no, we officially deny this, like the FBI. There is no such thing as baskets. Honestly, if I was them, what I would probably do is just never confirm it or deny it. Might even, you know, because they probably have a Twitter account, every corp does for some reason. what I would probably do is feed into it a little bit, you know, make some memes, you know, corporate memes, so not good memes, but some memes about the cornucopia, and really get that engagement talking, because the more people are aware of your brand, the more likely they are to buy your brand. Either that, or I would deny it, and then, like, wink at camera. You know, do that, like, or am I, sort of thing. But I'm also a bad, bad man. There's a reason I'm not the PR for any company. It's because I just kind of do things because I think it's funny. Honestly, I blame the CIA. Something that if the CIA came out and said that they did the cornucopia thing, they implanted, you know, these memories, I would believe them, because they just do things. That's what the CIA is. They just kind of go, do we want to help defeat global terrorism and human trafficking? Okay, cool, let's do that. Do we want to bomb civilians? Okay, cool, let's do that. Do we want to create a small cult around this funny little plant and then see where that goes? Cool, let's do that. The CIA has bigger ADHD than any person I've ever met with ADHD. They just kind of do things. I would not be surprised if the CIA was behind the cornucopia thing, just to see what happens. I think that they just enjoy pranking Americans. I've been gaslighting people on Facebook with this one. You know what? As someone with ADHD, I have... Dr. Ulfgren officially diagnoses the CIA with ADHD. I have a Twitter, you know. I don't really know how to use it, because Twitter seems to just be shouting into the void. But further dividing America, no longer between, yeah. The cornucopia, no cornucopia. You know, we already think that there's a cultural war going. This cornucopia thing. That might... What a weird ASMR stream. I get rizzed up by two people for the first half, and then I bring up the CIA stuff in the latter half. We've always been at war with Eurasia. We've always been at war with, I don't remember what they're called. Oh, man. 1984 is such a good book, though. Like, legitimately, the book. I haven't watched the movies. But if you haven't read the 1984 book, it is not the juiciest of reads, but it is genuinely entertaining as a thought experiment. I'm not a huge fan of unironically going, oh, McDonald's took away the black coffee before 12, literally 1984. But it is genuinely an entertaining thought experiment. His last interview, I don't think I've seen interviews with him. Oh man, another madman who wrote a great book was the guy who wrote Dune. Do not remember the name. Could be Orwell for all I know. I don't think it is, but oh man, Dune is again the book. I haven't personally read it, but I have Frank Herbert. There we go. Yeah, I have my autistic friend I told you about, who deconstructed my entire lifestyle and then called me autistic afterward. Speaking of madmen, but God, I love him to death though. but he's been holding me down to tell me about Dune, and I have this thing where if you want me to engage with your story, I'm going to ask questions about it, because, especially in the world building, you need to either think through, yeah, that photog is real though, but you need to think through the world building and, yeah, you know, at least ask basic questions, like, oh, where does the water come from, or where does it go in this crazy sand planet? At least answer it vaguely, right? Or just never answer anything. Like, you need to pick one or two. Option 1 or option 2. But Frank Herbert apparently wrote, he thought so hard about this world of his that every single time I asked a question that was super anal retentive and just nerdy, my friend would go, cool, here's the answer. My man has 0 world building plot holes that I could find. Frank Herbert was crazy. He's nuts. Also, I really liked that apparently he was off in the steppes, I believe, before he wrote the books, and he saw that the way that sand moved, and he was like, I am fascinated with sand. I have never heard anybody else say this, but I also like sand. Sand moves very elegantly. It's like water, but not. It makes interesting patterns. And to hear somebody who wrote the Sand Planet books say that he likes sand, one, made me feel seen, and answered a lot of questions. Answered a lot of questions. It's so many pages. It's such a long book series. And it gets absolutely nuts by the end. It is wild. It is just the most crack-fueled thing at the end. It's so good. Sand is nice until it gets everywhere. See, my family has a ranch, and on this ranch there's a lot of sand, which is weird because it is in the middle of the woods, essentially. It's like my grandfather and grandmother built from scratch, apparently, at least, you know, as they tell it. Built that house that they lived in, which is still up to the... was still up. Texas caught fire a few times. But, oh, hello. The conversation has moved a lot. Zappy. But I appreciate you being here. But, my family owns a ranch, right? Built it from the ground up, and I've never lived on the ranch, but I have a lot of experience with the ranch. This is where we find out that it's the Bene Gesserit power of the voice. You never know. You can't disprove it, but. Like I said, this ranch has a lot of sand on it. Grew up not on the ranch, but very, very, very frequently was on it, right? So I have picked up some habits of being in a windy area with sand all around you. One of which being that I just wear long sleeves, because when the wind whips up that sand, it actually is just not pleasant. I also tend to wear like bandanas and stuff like that over my hair, because I'm just used to it, and I developed that because sand gets in your hair and it doesn't want to leave. Oh, I'm sorry, overtime. I might be getting a little too into the conversation part and not enough into the ASMR. That is entirely possible. So, let's bring it back a little bit. There you go. Getting sand stuck inside while you're wearing a shoe? Nah. I wear boots. I do not own normal shoes. I have work boots, and I have cowboy boots, as people call them, when I am not... I also have sandals, but that's just for at my house. But I am either wearing work boots because I'm going or coming from work, going to or coming from, or I'm wearing my cowboy boots. You don't get sand stuck in your cowboy boots. It is not possible. Unless they're tucked into the boots, your jeans, I suppose. No, cowboy... Legitimately, cowboy Ovi is very real. I've got a lot of personality qualities that come from that. Got a lot of views. Got a lot of... Oh, cowboy definitely confirmed. I went to the rodeo. I participated in the rodeo once and hated it. I enjoyed riding horses, but a bucking bronco is genuinely just one of the most uncomfortable things to be on, which is kind of the whole point, but doesn't mean I have to like it. Oh man, I've got scars just all over from a four-wheeler incident I had. Got some scars in my hairline from dipping and weaving through the barbed wire. Oh man, horses are nice though. Oh god. Like genuinely spurs. I know people just kind of go, haha, it's the cowboy thing, but spurs are really important for horses that are not used to you, or that have not been really well trained for everybody. I'm about to tell y'all something that I think is really cute, but it's also about little baby Ulfgrim, so if that is not up to your liking, my apologies. But apparently, according to my mother, when I was born, and I was an itty-bitty little baby that could not speak... Oh, shoot. Just smacked the microphone. Super professional streamer, guys. But, apparently, when I was an itty-bitty little Ulfgrim that couldn't speak, didn't know words, she brought me to the ranch, and I saw the horses running on the sand, and according to her, the way, I pointed at them and made some sound like blah 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 or something, and she was like, oh, okay, it's just a baby babbling. And then she realized I kept on doing the same exact thing, not like cooing and, you know, all these other things. It was point at the horses and go blah 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 blah. And she was trying to figure out if I was like broken, which yes, but apparently she figured out that I was hearing the sounds of the hooves going through the sound, which is the sand rather, which is a kind of softer, repetitive sound. And she decided that I must be, as a little tiny little baby, I must have decided that that is what horses were. And apparently I kept doing it even after that environment, or after that circumstance. So, you know, come back a week later, horsey, point, blah, 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 or whatever it was. You know how moms are. She would absolutely be able to tell you exactly, but... So, horses and I have been together since the beginning. And it's one of those little stories where it's like, I don't feel super comfortable saying that I'm cute and it's baby me, but if I was any other baby, oh my god, that'd be the sweetest story in the world. Oh yeah. Horses, dogs, because ranches need dogs, particularly if you have chickens. So, I'm a huge dog person because we had like 5 of them on the ranch, right? I hate chickens because we had them on the ranch. I hate chickens and I hate goats. Cows are fine. Cows are very individual, but I'm not a fan of chickens or goats. Chickens are horrid, yeah. They're a bunch of jerks. Yeah, rude. But what was also great is that what my grandmother would do is whenever it would be breakfast time, I would, you know, hey, what do you want for breakfast? Well, I mean, obviously you want a real breakfast, so it's, I want, you know, bacon or some sort of pork. I want bread with butter on it, and I want some eggs, right? And I want some scrambled eggs because I was a kid. And what she would do, she'd say every single time, all right, go and get your eggs. And as every single time I would fall for this, and little tiny Ulfram would go into the chicken coop and get pecked. just pecked. Oh, hello, Mr. Smartaleck. Alright. Hello, Mr. Smartaleck. It's great to see you here. We are in the middle of both ASMR and story time, apparently. Little tales about itty bitty Wolfram being on the ranch. But, man, breakfast time, what do you want? I want toast with butter on it. I want either steak, not the big boy steak, but still. I want some sort of pork or beef product, preferably bacon, and I want some eggs, scrambled, because I'm 5 years old. Alright, honey, go get your eggs. And little me would go in, get pecked by the chickens. I'd get those eggs. I would get those eggs every single time. Every single time I would get those eggs. And I would walk out, complain about the chickens, and forget about it because chicken eggs are very good. At the end of breakfast, it's like, you know what? Repeating it. I'll see you again tomorrow, chickens. I'm happy that you've been enjoying the streams. Those rasps of voice you have, they do come out occasionally. At some point I might need to figure out how to do it myself. My mom also hated them, so we got our eggs from the lady down the road. Oh, that's absolutely the best way to do it. Just, if someone else has the eggs, they're your best friend, because that means you don't need to have the eggs. My voice is getting a little dry, though. But does living on the ranch, I guess, is it like in the movies? I can't watch movies about a ranch written by people who did not live on a ranch, because, man, that people who don't know what animals are like, or living with, no, it's fine, Ravi, but people who don't know what animals are like and don't live with animals cannot write. Is my accent coming through? When did I fall into my accent? Okay. So, people who do not live with animals can't easily write living with animals. Give her some of the slaughter from the year she hooked us up. Oh yeah. Bro, where I live, there are some chickens that bully my dog. They'll do that, yeah. That's something I don't understand. You are chickens. You are almost at the bottom of the food chain. How are you bullying one of the incarnations of the hunt? But they'll do it. And the dogs, they've been trained to treat the chickens well. Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Livestock will F you up. That make it too good to be true. Yeah. So I will say that I think that living on the ranch, or having experience with the ranch, is a very good thing for one's views. Because when you live on a ranch, you see birth, you see newcomers, you see animals being born, and you respect that life. You have to keep that life. You have to cherish it, you have to protect it. But at the same time, you become very familiar with loss, both intentional and accidental. And it is can I do something about this? No. Alright, well, that's something I need to look into. But how to get rid of bots. But anyway, yeah, I don't know how to is the problem. I forgot to look that up. Let's see. Yeah. We're gonna deal with it today, and after the stream, I'm going to. God damn it, I'm in the accent again. Whatever. Apparently, y'all like it. I'm gonna go ahead and look into it, but don't click funny links, guys. But yeah, being on the ranch teaches you the value of life and death. It teaches you the value of appreciating things as you have them, right? And this is something that kind of frustrates me about city folk, because city folk are used to pets. I'm overly conscious now, but they get a dog, have this dog for 7 years, and then they lose the dog, and then they get a new dog, right? It's, both of these things are incredibly unique to a city person, and thus I'm not going to say they value it too much, but they have a smaller window of experience to form their views, I suppose is what I'll say. So, coming from, a ranch again, it is, I'll be talking about things, and they find it really weird how I am very much an animal lover who still, say, eats meat, anything like that. It's like, yeah, but I also have more of an idea of what they're like. It's been fun living on the ranch. You'd get nice. Oh yeah, I absolutely had some nice memories on the ranch. Hold on, it's all in the vowels. I very much had good memories on the ranch. You get a lot of characters out there as well. Born to be wild, forced to be on the street. Yeah, absolutely. I've eaten things I bought. Yeah, exactly. And when you take care of them when they're little young ones. Whatever. I might as well just fully commit, shouldn't I? When you, yeah, when you bottle feed something, or when you raise it, or you have that one little cat that isn't as big as the other one, so you make it essentially a pet, right? You really do have to come to terms with animals are animals. They're not pets. They're animals before pets. So, as an example, when it's thundering and my dog bites me, I'm not going to get offended because it's an animal. It just does what it does. But I will hear of pet owners who get deeply offended by that. It's like, you have the offspring of a wolf. Biting's kind of one of the biggest things when scary, loud things come up that they don't fully understand. They're gonna bite. But the accent is an unstoppable force. Let it flow. Yeah, so I have spent years and years and years trying to quell the accent because, you know, again, I didn't live on a ranch. I lived in a city. I just had a significant amount amount of experience on the ranch. And city folk, even in Texas, city folk, even in Texas, will make fun of you for having a little bit too much yeehaw. Which is really funny because when you go out to another country and then call those same people, all Texans got a lot of yeehaw. All Texans got a lot of yeehaw, not just the ranch boys. But I decided to move up north a little bit. And there's a lot more yeehaw up there, a lot more hick country, and I'm a person who immediately adopts other accents. I'm an absolute chameleon when it comes to that. Not full chameleon, it's just I'm very quick to pick up certain accent points. So, living here for a few years completely undid years of training. Years of holding back the yeehaw. Give me 1 second. Uh-oh. I really hope that was muted. I drank water down the wrong pipe. As a non-American, I don't understand why the hate for accents. It is... I'm not going to get into it too hard, but it all stems from our big old war with each other, where you had the guys up north and the guys down south. That whole thing. But we have a little bit of a divide in this country. So we have this weird divide in this country where it's north and south, but also west, mid, and east, and you have like subsections. So like South California is almost entirely different from North California because it's along this weird little line. Our hick accents, yeah, exactly. It's the yeehaw accents are... No, it's not etymologically now, is it? I don't know what the study of accents are, but accentologically, more closely related to the... I think it's Scottish and English accents. But we also have some German heritage as well. Oh yeah, man. You go back to talking to family and it's just done. It's just, it doesn't matter how hard you worked. You're even if you have a lot of other guards up, your accent guard goes down. It's just done. Oh yeah. Oh man. The Scots have a very similar situation with the accent, which is odd to me because the accents is related to the Irish accent more than the English accent, because they're all coming from different language groups, right? Nerd mode again, red alert. But I think it's weird that the Irish get a little bit more of a pass when the Scots don't. And a thick accent is a thick accent regardless of which accent it is. I don't know, perceptions are really weird. Although we finally gotten away from thinking that English is de facto smart and suave to people who are English can also be goofy and can also be suave. I'm starting to deconstruct a lot of that recently. What is your language, Howie? What is the language of the fox? If you don't mind me asking, of course. Doesn't it? Let's see. Oh, you speak Viet? My area has a lot of Vietnamese people, so sounds good to me. I don't know much about the Vietnamese accent. I know that the language has influence from French for a fun reason, but I don't know much about the language itself. Let's see. Irish accent's going to be quite musical. Scottish going to be quite harsh. I guess that's true. I like the harsher accents, so maybe I'm just biased in favor of it. All English accents sound the same to me. That's interesting. I don't think I've heard that one before. I've heard that regions sound the same. Though there's a lot of nuance, but Aussie versus English versus Canadian versus the variety of Americans. That's an interesting one. Watching Peppa Pig at such a young age was a bad idea. I've now grown up with with a British. Keep saying mummy. Oh, that is funny. That'll do it to you. Absolutely. Was my first language. Man, what other languages do you speak? I'm currently trying to learn 2 languages and like properly learn these languages as well, because, oh, dude, yeah, Scottish has a lot of uvula emotions. I love them, though. I love it. I love that you can have the ha, you know, let's see, so, taich, that weird, like, not quite H sound, taich. Ach is just straight up, I think the word but, like, I was gonna go to the store, my car's out of gas or something like that. I love these accents. That's these sounds. It's also something that is shared amongst Germanic languages as well, where you have, so in Old English, you have like König and you have Queen, right? But I can't think of an example. Yeah, there's currently an accent in, I think, Cornwall, or it's no, hold on, it's Lobscus or Scouse, so it's closer by Wales, which means that it is an English accent heavily influenced by a Brythonic Celtic language, which Welsh counts as, I believe. And they do this really interesting thing where a lot of the times they won't say certain sounds. Like if you're going to say the black grass, most accents say black grass. Some do black grass, right? Where you have a glottal stop. Black. What they do is they do black grass. It flows, man. It flows. I love it. I'm such a slut for languages. I'm so easy. I'm so easy for accents and languages. It's not even funny. Viet, English, and learning Japanese. Oh man. Japanese is such a weird language. It sounds so nice. It sounds and looks so beautiful. It is such a complicated language in the written form. And then the written form influences the spoken form, which adds a new level of complexity to the spoken form. Yeah, it's so hard for me to learn. Yeah, imagine. ASL is also great. I love ASL. I started learning it, and then I moved away from my instructor. But my, hand movements, the way that I gesticulate, make gestures, is heavily influenced by ASL now. All those feller fricatives really do it for me. Same with German. Oh, dude, German's good. Is the Skald coming out? Oh yeah, you know it is. I just love Germanic languages, man. I love Old English. I love Old Frisian. Frisian actually being the closest related language to English, even today, I believe. It's not particularly useful to learn, and both have been, I think English got Frenchified, and Frisian got Dutchified, if I remember correctly. So, it's not as close as it used to be. Although back in the day, even the Scandinavian people, they knew Old Norse, which was apparently, according to their writers, so close to Old English that they wrote down that the people on the island spoke the same language. That is crazy to me. North American, I feel so out of place in this conversation. I'm sorry, Overtime, I'm sorry. German, oh. I had to learn German, French, and Italian for the voice major. Italian's nice. I really like Italian as well. I learned a good chunk of classical Latin. Classical Latin, man, it is such a good language. It is so good. God, I love it so much. I get excited when I see classical Latin now. My hearing isn't the best, and I talk with my hands, so I figured I should learn ASL. Is ASL... Do you live in America or in another give any information as you wish. I'm not demanding anything, Owie. Feel the same with languages like Spanish. Okay, you do live in America, so yeah, ASL would be useful. I'm gonna be honest. I know I said earlier that, I live in Texas. I really like, the Mexican people and Mexican food. I don't like Spanish. I think it's because I've been overexposed to it. It's really hard for me to get excited about learning Spanish. And the excitement is kind of what makes me want to learn things. Being Asian is so great because you can flex out, you can speak 2 languages. Apparently most of Europe can. It's just the Anglosphere that does it. It's really goofy. As opposed to Ecclesiastical Latin. I don't like the way that Ecclesiastical Latin sounds. I really don't. I'm gonna be honest. Spanish culture, Spanish history, Spanish food, all of that. I absolutely love it. I just can't get excited about learning the language. I'm sorry, Zavi. I'm sorry. I love the country. I love the accent and culture. I just can't get into learning the actual language itself. Yeah, I also do not know enough to survive in an actual conversation. Also, Spanish is not closely related to Latin anymore. So, you can't use some... It's too late. I'm sorry. I'll make it up to you one day. I love singing in all those languages. But I can't... I think I said this in my last stream. I like a lot about French history, and again the culture and, the accent. But French is another one. French also shouldn't exist as a language as it does, because French is a Germanic language, or Gallic. No, the Franks were Germanic. So it's a Germanic language that was heavily influenced by a vulgar Latin, vulgar just being not the Queen's Latin, the Caesar's Latin. So it got influenced heavily by a vulgar Latin. Then it had some contact with the Middle East, well, not the Middle East, but Arabic culture, as they pushed into Iberia, and that turned into a whole thing. And then it just kind of incestuously kept folding these qualities onto itself. Man, French is just weird. French is such a weird language. Not nearly as pretty as as the movies think. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I fully agree. Although, I'm gonna say, YouTube has decided to recommend me a ton of ASMR artists recently that have a French accent. I am weak. I'm weak to a pretty voice with a French accent. I'm weak to that. Shame about the language. Shame about the language. The dialects of Spanish confuse me, especially since I'm the one learning. Oh, especially for the one I'm learning. There are different dialects, yeah. Oh, I missed something. And also the kind of Spanish you can probably get in Texas is very different from, say, Cuban. Oh, yeah, it's definitely not Cuban or Puerto Rican. It's slightly different from like mainstream or official Mexican Spanish. So it's very much the same language, but there are some differences. So yeah, I think you'd sound a little weird going from Texas Spanish, going to the heart of Mexico, going down to Puerto Rico, but, you know, At the end of the day, as long as you understand each other, it kind of doesn't matter. I meant to say, since the one I'm learning is the one that acts the plural second. Okay, so the plural second person, I think, is vosotros. So nosotros is we. I think vosotros. No, plural second person. So that'd be I plus I. So that would be we, wouldn't it? So that would be nosotros. Vosotros, they only use that in Spain. Why were we learning that in high school? Why were we learning that? I got some bones to pick with Spanish class. I'm not gonna get into that. I've got some bones to pick with Spanish class and English class. And I love languages. That's how you know these classes are bogus. English class in the States is basically just literature appreciation. Average quit learning French after 6 weeks. The syntax and differences between spoken and written. Is there that much of a difference between spoken and written? Man, get that out of here. And that's after reforms. I only understand Southern for Viet, Northern and Central kill me. Accents. Really? That's interesting. Save status instead. So that'd be in relation to the y'all thing. Okay, I see. There's so many pretty colors of y'all's names. I flip-flop between where I'm reading. I can't just go down the list. I'm like a butterfly, going from one flower to the other. Got green, you got other green, you got yellow, you got purple, you got red, pink. Red and pink and pink. I don't know what those colors are. One of those is definitely pink. Viet teacher was trying to teach us to read and write before speaking. But that's another thing. I'm not gonna do this for long. But language is spoken before it is written. And this is a universal law. No language that people actually speak was created after the writing system. Writing systems change and adapt. I mean, so do the spoken forms. But the writing systems change to adapt the spoken forms. It is very rarely the opposite side. And more importantly, people learn words that are relevant to them first. When you are, learning a language as a kid, you don't go, okay, I'm, 2.5 years old. I'm going to learn mommy, daddy, and anti-establishmentarianism. Like, that's not how you do. That doesn't make any sense. You learn words that are relevant to you. Mommy, daddy, older brother, stuff like that. I've got another phrase. I've got another story on that. It's really cute, not about me this time. But you learn words that are relevant to you. You go on to the colors that you see regularly. Green, blue, sky's blue, grass is green, stuff like that. These classes do not teach you as you're supposed to learn a language. They teach you like you already know the language, because the people writing these, textbooks and stuff already know the language. It is incredibly frustrating. Because what you have is, I know how to order a pen from a restaurant. Cool, I guess that's useful if I'm signing checks. I know how to find the bathroom, and I know how to say that disestablishmentarianism is bad. Cool. That is a 66% potential use case, 33% actual use case. It's so weird, man. It is so bizarre. Welcome to the Ulfgrim rant about language classes. I don't like classes about languages. I have a major bone to pick with all of them, pretty much. I'm gonna go to a softer brush. I'm gonna bring the energy down a little bit more. Got a little up. But I have a Korean stepmother, and she and my father have some kids. La plume de ma pomme. Don't know what it means, but I read it. I think I butchered it, but I read it. But I have a couple younger siblings. Apparently, they're so much younger than me that is not even funny. But in my country, a lot of people learn English or don't learn English because of that. Exactly. It's so weird. And then these same people want to make the excuse of, well, you know, kids are just little sponges. That's why they learn languages really easily. It's like, yeah, and no. Kids are little sponges. They're absorbing everything. You are an adult. You can specialize. Kids, when they're growing up, they're amazing because they're little like fishing nets. They just catch everything and anything and everything. They'll learn, mommy, daddy, green, blue, and they'll learn your curse words that you use often. They don't discriminate. They just sucked in, little sponge brains. But the people that excuse me, that are told these things, they're adults. They're old enough that they can choose to learn these languages. They're spears, not fishing nets. And then they get discouraged because they're being taught wrong, and the people teaching them wrong blame it on something else. It is, like, I don't want to be the one to use this word, it is gaslighting. The person who broke your window is over there being like, crazy how rocks break windows, huh? Man, maybe if windows weren't as fragile, maybe you'd have a window. It's like, no, you did this. You're the problem. Don't blame the window. Don't blame the student because they can't learn a language. Kids can learn a language. Don't blame the student. Teach it better. Anyway. Bring it back down. This is the problem when we start talking about this stuff. I'm passionate about cultures and language. But anyway, my younger sister, I am about 22 years older than her. And when she was born, I saw her as a little baby, and then I didn't really contact that side of the family for a while. So next time I saw her, she was about 2, I believe. She was starting to speak, and she's, her mother's South Korean, so she speaks Korean, right? Or she's learning Korean and English. And what do we have? So in Korean, I don't remember what the word for mother is, but father is oppa, older brother is appa, older sister is Neun? Something, I don't know. Older sister's not relevant. I knew a little bit of Korean back in the day, but you don't use it, you lose it. But my little sister is really smart because when she met me, so South Korea has this thing where the whole country is a big family in the way that they speak. So if I'm 25 and one of you is 24 and 8 months old, right? And you and I are in line to get lunch, right? We're talking, we figure out each other's ages. Got it, I'm like 4 months older than you. It is not, apparently, uncommon for me to say something along the lines of, I'll pay for your lunch, I'm the older brother. Or in this case, I'm your oppa. I'm your oppa. I hope I'm getting that right, because otherwise, if oppa is older brother, saying I'm your oppa is saying I'm your daddy. Which, you know, you can still buy their food, but very different energy. But anyway, so we'll pretend that oppa is older brother, right? But you can also do it with, like, uncles, kind of. So your dad has a brother. You can... I think there is a word for uncle. And I think they still use oppa normally. You know, it's... if I remember correctly. Either way, whatever it is in Korean. When she saw me interacting with my dad, and she saw how big I was, and you know how deep my voice was, similar to my dad's, and how we both are clearly adults, in this little girl's brain, she is like 2, maybe 2.5, she decided, well, he's not my big brother. He's my uncle. So when I met her, after she was being a baby, you know, after she was a little baby and she grew up a little bit, she didn't remember me. She didn't remember her older brother, which is fine. She, when she was told to introduce herself to me, she called me her uncle, and then swiftly corrected by our father, but I was so proud of her, because that she thought about it. She observed and understood. That was amazing. I don't contact this side of the family very much for our own reasons, but I have never stopped bragging about that girl being smart. I loved that. That was crazy. And then she did call me older brother from then on, but every single time you could see in her little tiny child face that she didn't really know why. It was just like, I mean, sure, I guess, brother. Whatever you guys say. I'm 2. You tell me the sky's red and I'll believe you. But, God, I was so proud of her. Still am. That's why you're fun to listen to. Love the random aggression while in the middle of relaxing trigger. Yeah. I mean, I guess as long as y'all like it. But, same with the vent. That's a Asian thing, rather. That is an Asian thing I've noticed, because in Japanese you also have oji-san, and oba-san, which is technically grandpa and grandma plus like uncle and auntie, right? But if I am 25 years old and you are 20, you might just call me oji-san, as opposed to, what's up, dude? Or, you know, hey, stranger, who is also a male. I was calling my mom money, because I couldn't say mommy. That's funny. Well, guys, it is officially 8:15 my time. We've been going for 2 hours and 15 minutes. I got really off the rails in the last 20, but I'm happy that you're here, and I'm happy that y'all enjoyed it. It's been 2 hours. It's been 2 hours. I wasn't fully sure I could handle 2 hours, but apparently we've done it pretty good, pretty well. But I appreciate y'all coming. I appreciate y'all coming to a different platform as well. And I love y'all. That's how you can tell that I'm not fully used to just embracing my accent. I love y'all all. But, yeah, I really dig it. I am going to stream more often. So, I look forward to this being more common. And I hope y'all do as well. So, with that, y'all sleep well. Adios.